Commissioner Bernard Hogan-Howe.
Thank you. No, it's too short an answer, but it's not a million miles from the truth actually. For those who don't know, they have some powers already. And the great attraction of police community support officers, for those who may not have met one, is that they generally they walk. You're not in a car, so you've got a chance of meeting them. You're not in a car that's driving from place to place. On the whole, we try and keep them in one place longer than probably keep police officers in those places. So they tend to have really good relationships with members of the community, and I don't know whether you have one at university or around here, but I hope that they can meet people. There's some great benefits. We have greater diversity in our PCSOs. So about 1 in 3 are from minority groups, 1 in 2 broadly are from women. So we've got far better representation because they're Londoners, as are the special constables. So the Londoners give us better representation of the community we serve. So they're the strengths. If we give them more powers, the tendency is that they'll end up in the police station longer. Is the sad reality. So we start saying, I tell you what, can you just go to a crime and take a record of it? Can you just do a bit more investigation? Can you just take this statement? Can you just, list gets bigger and bigger. And everybody, as we've probably heard already, the officers are busy. And the natural tendency is, can you just do me that? Which is fine, but it means that they can't be in 2 places at once. So they tend not to be walking, talking, meeting people. And for that reason, I would be hesitant to increase powers like powers of arrest or powers of ability to issue fixed penalties, etc. They have some powers in that respect. And the second thing is, that they genuinely, when they work at best, it's not just about being nice to people, it never should be about being nice to people, it's about respect. And it should be that if people tell them things, if they can't take action, they should arrange for it to happen. So for me, I think that vital link of walking, meeting people in schools, getting relationships with head teachers, parents, governors, pays us back in the long run. And the danger, I can't say it will definitely happen, is if we give more powers, then we'll not be doing that as often. Well, it's certainly true, it's both true and wrong in a way. It's true this year that the police numbers have dropped. So we should have had 33,300-ish. We got down to about just under 32,000. I know this is boring, but the budget for next year, which starts in April, your financial year runs April to March, is that we're going to be short of money. We can't make police officers redundant. So this year, the number of police officers gradually dropped because we believe we wouldn't have the money to employ them next year. And we can't employ people, we can't pay them. So gradually the numbers have dropped. But about 6 weeks ago, we received £90 million that we didn't expect. What that means is that police officer numbers actually within the next few weeks, we'll be back up to 33,300. So although the rest of the country, the 42 other forces, are going to see a drop in police numbers, we're not. And it's mainly to do with the Olympics. So because we've got the Olympics coming, we've got the Silver Jubilee. Sadly, really I suppose partly a reflection of last August and the riots that took place in the city. We've got extra support than you will see in the rest of the country. So the police numbers will be back up there, and the police community support officer numbers are just in flux. So I said that we've got 2 broad routes of recruiting people at the minute. Specials or PCSOs who come through with police officers. And this recruiting drive to get to the 32,300 will come a lot from the CSOs. So we'll end up with some vacancies in the CSOs. It takes about 6 months to sort it out. So that's why, I know it's a bit of a long answer, but I think it's accurate, which is that the numbers of police officers will be back there for at least a year. CSOs will recover in the next 6 months. But it's true this year we've had some pressure on numbers. But to be fair to the rest of the country, they've seen worse. We've been fairly well protected. I know it's going to be easy. I can't excuse it other than say that until the money was in place, we couldn't have a plan. Now we're actually trying to catch up. So we've got this huge recruitment drive on both fronts, and one's, ahead of the other. So we're going to have to do our best. I can't stand here and say that we're not going to have gaps, because there will be gaps. There's some boroughs who are really badly affected by it. I think they're about 60 people short. Out of, it's quite a significant number. So we're just going to have to do our best to try and fill that gap as quickly as we can. Because of course, if they're going to come in and train for, I think it's about 14, 19 weeks, you can only get them through at a certain rate. So I can't stand here and say within 24 hours it'll just be solved. You've got to recruit them. The only one thing I would add to what I've said is, although we've got these two broad pools, the CSOs and the specials, there was a leg of the strategy which started about 18 months ago, which should have actually prioritised graduates. For whatever reason that didn't happen. It's going to happen in the future. Or people who've got similar abilities that you might see in a graduate. We need to get good quality people in. So if everybody sat in the audience, think about being in the police, it'd be really helpful. It's not that easy a job. It's quite a complex job actually. Particularly, I mean, for me it's easy, I just talk about it. But at 3 o'clock in the morning, you talk about things like legal highs or whatever, you try and sort some of these things out in the street, they're not straightforward. And try and lead some of the people involved is a real challenge, whether it be Simon's role as a borough commander or whatever. So anybody who's thinking about it, it's a good profession. I don't think it's part of the job. I don't think you should have to feel down about it. I just think that first of all, anything new is going to take a while to bed in, and this is relatively new. I mean, policing is only about 180 years old, and these people have been there for 10 years. So I think, one, the police have got more used to them. I think the community has too. And the best evidence that they're worthwhile is that you try and take one away, the community complain a lot. If they didn't care for them, if they thought they were a waste of time, they would say nothing. But when we try to remove them, or they go to become a police officer, we do get complaints. People notice they're not there. And if they're a waste of time or a waste of money, that wouldn't be the case. So the best evidence you've got that's successful is the community want them. And if I'm honest, when they first came in, I wasn't sure how we would best deploy them. So I think that's been professionally, it's been quite an evolving debate about how we best use them and build them into the teams. And I think even now we're still learning there. But they should be proud of what they do, because at the end of the day, as I said earlier, they walk. It's all right, you can drive past something that's a bit difficult. You can be zooming off to another job. You're walking past it, you've got nowhere to go when you've got a uniform on. And some of the places they work are incredibly challenging. And they do a great job. I mean, there was a job in Haringey last night. CSO out, a woman, the terrible case where a woman was mugged. She fell, she was carrying a 3-year-old child, it broke her leg. And the CSO came around the corner, caught these two 16-year-olds, might hang on to one, the other one was caught nearby by some police officers. So they're out there doing it. So they should be proud of that. And even when they don't have the powers sometimes, they've got the powers of a citizen. So they should do that. So they're a great group of people. And often they're a bit more mature than everybody else. Their age group is a bit, so they're not always in the flush of youth, but they still get stuck in. So they should be very proud of what they achieve. And probably we need to do more to promote them. But one thing I do, finally, is that I've been on a couple of radio shows where some of the shock jocks will say, well, these plastic bobbies, and I always challenge them. Well, you going to have a go then? You think it's so easy, why don't you go and have a go? Because it's not.